Casanova gets after it. He's got the run of the ball. He's been hotly pressed by the Mallee Park players, but he pushes the ball down. Mundy kicks it back, but it's picked up by Runnels. And Tasmans have won the 1992 Grand Final. Tasmans have come out the winners. They have won 18 goal 12 to Mallee Park 16 goal 9. That's the first premiership for Tasman since 1977. It's been a long time, and Tasman's thoroughly deserve it, and they've come from third position, and they've taken out the 1992 Grand Final.
This is the one. That was when they won the Roosters Blitzpackers. Sensational first quarter.
On that particular day, we kicked something like 9 or 10 goals in the first quarter.
It was 11 goals.
11 goals in the first quarter.
Yeah. God takes the mark, goes straight onto his left leg, comes around, kicks it left leg down to the centre of the ground. But there, it's picked up by Mallee Park. Mallee Park goes through, and it's picked up by the Tasman player. Oh, and the Mallee Park players are doing absolutely stupid things. And why Mallee Park keep trying to take out the players, I don't hold much hope for them at all. The umpires are not taking any of it. Fiegert goes in, lining up, goes in for his kick, kicks it. The umpires had to go, but it's another goal.
We were 11 goals up.
They go to 11 goals.
Yeah.
11 goal 5, I'm sorry, to 1 goal 2. That's a big lead to Tasmans in this first quarter. Mallee Park are getting very frustrated. Not concentrating on the ball at all, I'm afraid, and this is not helping them at all. It's a fair lead to Tasmans, 10 goal 3 in the first quarter. The ball's not, it's line ball that time from the centre bounce. And there's the siren, goes through, and that gives Tasmans a very, very strong lead at the end of the first quarter.
So can you remember what your final score was after kicking 11? You know what you ended up with? Wasn't much more, was it, or 15 or something?
Well, it'll be up there.
But you were going to say what, eh?
I'm sorry, no. It's just hard to believe that we were 11 goals up at the quarter time and 12 goals up about a minute into the second quarter, and Mallee Park got within 3 points. And in the end, I'm here to tell you, another 10 minutes we would have not won by 15 points, we would have won by 30. Mallee Park had dropped it, in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
18-12, 16-9.
We kicked the first 11, last 3.
Wow.
But that was a horrendous day for us. If we'd lost that, we would have gone backwards 20 bloody years, excuse the French, 20 years, because we built ourselves for this one. And
Okay, here we go for the first bounce of the 1992 Grand Final between Tasmans and Mallee Park. They'll go up. First ball's touched by Tasmans, picked up by Tasmans, knocked out by Miller. Miller passes on to Peach. Peach kicks it down. Knocked on very well by the number 8. Handballed on to the Tasman player. Straight in the goals, and it goes over the pack and goes through for the first score of the day.
And see, a lot of players we'd got. Well, I wouldn't say we imported, but we did recruit heavily this year. Peachy had come in.
But picked up by Peach. Peach goes for a long handball to Andy Rode. Andy Rode's back to Peach. Peach has got no one in front of him. He kicks the ball on. Lewis comes out for a big lead, and Lewis marks the ball at round about the 40-metre mark.
But yeah, because see, Mark Milton had the contract with the mine.
That's right, and that was significant. Yep.
Yeah, and so we got a lot of guys in to work with him, and it was great for that. So yeah, it was interesting.
So 92 season, we got some good recruits.
In comes Carbine. Carbine's still got it. Goes back under his left foot. Puts a left foot kick in. Down come Rowe. Rowe kicks it off the ground instead of trying to grab it. Has another go. Kicks it off the ground again. Comes out onto the foot. Milton's out there by himself. He's got a paddock to turn. He turns around with a left foot kick and kicks it straight to Peach, and has found Peach at approximately, I'd say 40 metres from goal.
We lost Chris Prime, obviously, which is a big hole to fill in the forward line, but we did pick up some good players from the southeast through the work that was at the graphite mine. We had Phil Wallace, Andrew Smith, rugged centre half back, and also I picked up Tim Peach, services. He was in the ANZ Bank, and there was a lot of, there was talk that he was going to play for Waybacks. We worked hard to win his services, and we're glad we did. He was a premiership player for down in the southeast. He played for Nuri Yukta in a couple of flags. Everywhere he went, he sort of everything turned to gold. So we were lucky to get him, and he was a pretty important, played a fairly important role in our premiership team. So he had a good year and was instrumental in the grand final.
On to Christopher Rowe, kicks it on down the ground. It's picked up by Rowett to Peach. Peach goes in with a long kick, goes right, and it's gone straight through the middle, and that's a goal to Peach. And Tasmans now go to kick their third goal within approximately 3 minutes, and they go to 3 goals to Mallee Park yet to score.
He was a brilliant footballer, Peach. He come from Mount Gambier. Him and Mark Milton are still good mates.
Yeah.
The windsock's not showing a lot.
Yeah, Tom's a great man.
Yeah.
You started off badly though.
We were there and thereabouts, but Souths were always too good for us in the minor round. We probably shared the wins with Waybacks and Marble Range, and even bet Mallee Park. They bet us by 1 game, a kick after the siren, and we reversed the roles out at Mallee Park one day. We bet them after the siren. So we were pretty evenly matched with Mallees, but Lincoln South looked like it was their premiership to lose that year.
Which they did. Mind you, you beat them.
We bet them in the preliminary final.
The thing is, we were undefeated in '92, broke the record, we still hold, kicking the most goals ever in the comp, and we never made the grand final. Went out in straight sets.
Oh, here's a headline of the day, leading up into the preliminary final. Eagles tipped in preliminary, which yeah, you'd expect. They've been the top team all year. And they only lost by 2 goals in that second semi-final against Mallees. And Jackamara kicked 9. But yeah, in the preliminary final, Tasman's 14-12, Lincoln South 12-11, and we led from woe to go.
Lost the second semi. We should have went into the grand final. And then unfortunately, Tasman's beat us in the preliminary. They went out in straight sets. That was really disappointing because we were, like I said, undefeated. We just had played 2 bad games. Well, we didn't play a bad game in the second semi, but we certainly played poorly in the preliminary final.
Did they play poorly?
I'm not sure they played poorly. I think we held them well. I think we played well. We had to play well. The whole team had to play well. And, the whole team did click that day. I'll never forget, if I can mention a player that went to Lincoln South from Tasman, Steel Seaman.
Oh, Steel Seaman.
I'll never forget his face when the siren went after we'd beaten them, and he was dragging his chin on the ground, and I thought, well, you should have stayed, mate. I didn't say anything to him. I think he was hurting enough, but unfortunate for him, but good luck to us.
Well, he missed out on the premiership, and I don't think he ever played in one.
That's footy.
That is footy.
I'll not digress, but I'll go back early in the year. We had a coach who was newly appointed at the start of the year. Wasn't working out for him. He lost the players, I think, mid-year, and the committee in their wisdom decided that he probably needed to be replaced.
And about probably 2/3 of the way through the season, we dispensed with his services.
Yeah, that was Wayne Clements, I reckon, wasn't it?
I wasn't going to mention the name, but we'd had a terrific build-up to this year, and I was president actually, and we had a fantastic committee, and they were committed. They were committed to the hilt, and Mark Milton, he was committed to the hilt. Mark actually employed 3 of our better players. So, and that had a huge influence on us.
Graphite or something? Or?
Yeah, graphite mines, yeah. Phil Wallace Nugget and Flip Wallace. Phil Wallace.
Yeah, Phil Wallace, yeah.
Robot Smith, he employed, yeah.
Oh, Smithy, yeah.
Yeah.
Smith, yeah.
So,
it was an opportunity too good to miss. We'd recruited well from the southeast, and those footballers are tough. They bred them tough down there, and you know, Andy Smith and Phil Wallace were just really hard footballers. And then you had the
So Robot was southeast as well.
yes, yeah,
So
yeah. He come from Mount Burr, I think, from memory.
Right, Mozzie.
Bounces at once, goes onto his left leg, kicks it down in the forward line where the Tasman player takes a good diving mark, and that was in Andy Smith. And there's another 50-metre penalty. Once again, Mallee Park, I think, are getting a little bit frustrated. That's 250 metres they've given away. And Andy Smith has got this now. He'll go in, and I say he'll kick. He goes in, he kicks it high, go down looking for Fiegert. Fiegert gets under it, gets one hand onto it, grabbed off the ball, picked up by
Stevie Milton.
Sargent, who handballed it on, goes on to Casanova, and Casanova has gone through and kicked another goal for Tasmans, and Tasmans now go to 9-2, and they are leading Mallee Park as 1-2. That gives Tasmans an 8-goal lead, and this is a good lead for Tasmans so early in that game.
It was a huge to-do. It was really something. And that committed, and the one weak link happened to be the coach.
Yeah, it was just one of those years. I'd never played a football season like it. You know, to have a coach start and fell out of favour with the players and the football club, and
he made a couple of unsavoury remarks at not meetings, but
Presentations
and things like that. And we had a meeting down in my office with the committee, and look, it only took 30 seconds. That's it. Go and tell him what yeah, thanks. Ripper. But that was sad, but
Then it was your job, so how did he take it?
Bob Millick and I actually recruited him from South Whyalla, where I used to play many, many moons ago. And South Whyalla had a hell of a lot of time for him. And poor devil, he's supposed to be playing coach. His hamstring problems were just unbelievable, so he couldn't perform on the field. Couple that with a few other misdemeanours, and we were desperate to win this damn premiership. Something had to give. And I remember going out to Poole Oval where we were training, of all places, the night for the night of the dismissal. And I walked out.
It wasn't Poole, it was Stanford.
Well, you mob again.
That's incorrect. It was Stanford Oval.
Oh, okay, Stanford.
Yeah, and he came. I remember he called us over to just down from the race from where the players come out at the gates there, the coach's box, and he called us over to the fence there, and he came down and spoke to us there. It definitely wasn't Poole Oval, it was Stanford. And what he spoke to us, and he informed us that the coach at the time had been terminated.
And I walked out to the players and said, one of you mob are going to have to be coach as of tomorrow. And they looked at me, I said, the old coach is gone, make up your mind. And they voted Stephen Fiegert in, and that was it.
And I think it was said amongst the group, well, who's going to coach us now? And someone piped up and said, well, Fiegs, you can do it. And correct me if I'm not sure if that, I think the club might have already had a bit of an idea, but we said to Watto, I said, let's get Fiegs to do it. And we said, Fiegs, would you do it? And he said, yeah, I'll do it. And that's about how it happened. And I can still remember jogging off as a group. I was jogging next to Andy Rowett and a few other players, and the conversation was along the lines of, well, boys, we got a premiership to win, let's go and do it. And it was almost like from that moment forward that Fiegs pulled us all together. Like we had the skill and the talent, and I think the will was there, but we just didn't have any spark to sort of give us that inspiration to want to win that premiership that had eluded the footy club for the last 15 years.
Rogers he doesn't know what to do. Now he goes back, takes the kick, puts it in high. They send themselves down there. Phil Stanley comes through him, a very strong mark.
So, yeah, interesting turning point.
Very hard to see what's happening in there. Kicks up, hand over Colby. Colby goes back for a long kick. Phil Stanley puts it down on the ground, knocks it on, picked up by Andy Rowett. Andy Rowett comes around, kicks it to Murphy. Murphy takes the kick.
We employed a local fellow actually that came from the Great Flinders League by the name of Stephen
Fiegert, who was EP player, certainly in the twilight of his career, but an E United player for many years and a great of Great Flinders football.
And obviously never played in the premiership before, being Air United.
From the kick out from my side, we'll see a good strong mark by Stephen Fiegert.
He'd had a lot of success with Great Flinders, but none at club level. And he come, I remember him at the pre-season, and because I knew Steve and I knew his heroics for Great Flinders, and he was out having a run pre-season for Tasmans in '92, and I asked him, I said, "Oh, what's your intentions? Are you just, you're looking to keep fit and play a bit of B grade?" He said, "No, I want to play A grade."
We really liked Steve. He was an experienced guy, been around a bit, played a lot of footy, played EP football, and just a really good communicator.
Well, there's a bit of a fumble there. It was very hard to see from here, but the umpire had no hesitation. That was the interfered there by McCurry, who knocked the ball on one-handed. Then he knocked it on, and Lewis picked it up, and with a long kick into the forward lines, has found...
That was a great mark. He had good hands, didn't he, Feegs?
The old veteran.
Yeah, well, he's a great footballer. Like Steve said, EP. And
he would be no more than probably...
Nice turnover.
From goal at a very slight
Yeah, Louis.
Pretty well an angle
I'll
where...
talk about him afterwards when we get the last quarter.
Okay, yeah.
And the umpire sending him around. Still, the angle's not real bad for a very experienced player. He's coming in, lines it up, has a long kick. The goal umpire does not move, and that's another goal to Tasman.
Yeah, I got 5 in the first quarter, didn't get one after that. That's
They are now leading Mallee Park 1-1. That gives Tasman's a 31-point lead, and this is just into the 20-minute mark.
And I was crook as a dog there. The day before, actually it's funny, because in one of the finals, I did everything right. I had passed it for tea. I never played in finals. Well, we had, but not.
Air United.
Yeah, United. We did.
Wasn't famous for playing in finals, yeah.
No, and I played an absolute shithouse game the next day, and I thought, okay, so this is how you prepare for finals. So the day before, we had a golf day up at Tumby, like EPAS Brokers or MGA. I used to work for. And so we went up and had a barbecue at one of the guys' places at Tumby, Steve Girardi. You might have known of Steve. He played for Woodville.
Not really sure, just let me shift that slightly, yeah, go on.
And John Girardi's his brother, he used to be a spotter for the Crows.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'd drink it and I had this rotten flu and we had bacon steak and a couple of bottles of red and whatever, and I thought, no, I'm just going to get my mind off this footy, so I had a good day. I had enjoyed myself. None of the team knew
who was hurled without the ball.
And the next day for the game, I dosed myself up with as many drugs as I possibly could, and I was crook. And I walked when I had
experience he should not miss.
And
he kicked 5 goals in the first quarter, and he come up and he said to me, half time or 3/4 time, "What do you think I should do? Should I'm stuffed?"
And that's I dragged myself halfway through the quarter.
Really?
Sorry, not the quarter, the game, because I was feeling absolutely ratchet. I rattled when I was running out of that many tablets in there.
Really?
He's coming in now for this kick. Should never miss this, really. He kicks the ball. The goal umpire does not move, and that's another goal to Tasmans. They now go to 4 goals, and they lead Mallee Park 1 goal.
But and the next year I didn't play because I used to have physio every Monday after playing this because I got a.
You were how old?
36. And I hadn't played for 5 years, I think.
5 years?
Yes, I had a dickie back on the farm, and I was farming by myself then, and I just couldn't afford to risk my back.
Ball down. Oh, yes, Miller was interfered with there. The Mallee Park player did not even go for the ball. He just attacked the player. Miller puts in the kick, a real high one. Fiegert gets under it, and the only player going for the ball has made no mistake and has taken a very good mark. He may be a little bit too far out, approximately 45 metres. May be as long as he wants to go, but there is a bit of a breeze out there. And he's directly in front. And he's lining up. He's taking his time. Taking plenty of time, goes in for his kick. It's got the distance and the accuracy, and that's another goal to Tasmans, and they have absolutely shot away with this at this stage. They now go to 10-2 to Mallee Park 1-2.
But of course you were ranked underdogs in there.
We were.
9-goal lead.
And I played on that.
Well into the now into
We were right through. We were 4th when I took over coaching. No. Yeah, we were 4th.
They've got a 9-goal lead.
It's amazing you're 4th because you had such a disastrous sort of season.
And the first headline when I first final we went into was against Waybacks, I think, or Souths. And the headline was underdogs, basically, that don't stand a chance, you know, they're fourth and blah, 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 blah. And so I blew it up as big as I could possibly do it on the thing at work and stick it in the club rooms.
And it worked?
Have a look at this, yeah. They used to call me the Pope because I had that little bald patch back then, just at the back. Either the Pope or Grandpa, they called me.
The first Lutheran Pope.
Yeah, it's funny, you know. These lads, and I only took over as coach in July, I think it was. And then Paul Casanova, we probably have seen him, just didn't. Paul Casanova, there were three of them. Big Nugget Miller was one, and I forget who the other one was. They rented a place out at Happy Valley, and they had a housewarming party. And he said, "You better come around, coach."
Run through Will, picks it up, kicks the ball, puts it in real long, looking for Fiegert, and it's touched off a Fiegert's hand and goes through for a point.
And I thought, well, I should, you know, it's all team bonding sort of stuff. So I went around and I don't know if I wasn't drinking any beer. I think I might have had one or two ports. Just thought, well, I'll sip a bit of port. Anyway, they had this house welcome cake. They made this cake. And I thought, oh yes, it's you know, supper time, I'll have a piece of this cake. So I had a piece of cake and they were all standing around smiling at me. And anyway, it was nice cake, it was chocolate and whatever, so I went and had another piece. It was marijuana cake.
Being in Lincoln.
All my life, I'm never ever going to touch, and I was offered, you know, joint plenty of times, that, you know, after footy, whatever, and in the car with blokes and whatever, and I said, no, not going to. And so, unknown to me, I got into the marijuana.
How was it?
Yeah, oh yeah, I was crook. I'd never, and they couldn't wait to see me at training. How'd you feel Saturday night, boss? What was that? And it was then they told me. Rotten little hooers. But anyway, it bonded the team. Yeah.
What was your reaction when they came and asked you to be coach?
Well, I was in Adelaide with work at the time, and I got a phone call from, I don't know if it was Mark Milton or Tony Watson.
Probably would have been Tom, but yeah.
Yeah. And
I guess
my reaction was, because they had asked me at the start of the season if I'd coach, and I said I wasn't interested in coaching. And even E United asked me, and I wasn't interested in coaching. But my reaction was, I'd got nothing to lose.
Kicks it in hard. The Tasman boys come through. Oh, it goes straight through at Tasman. It's handballed on by Mallee Park. Oh, there's a rule around the top of the neck to Michael McCurry, and Michael McCurry will take the kick at centre half back. Decides to go back for his kick. McCurry with a long, high kick down to the very well judged mark there, taken by Wolford. Wolford goes back, he's looking for his options, he kicks it in high, puts it right in high. Under it is Sargent, comes off hands, picked up by Casanova. Casanova runs into an open goal and makes no mistake, and he kicks Tasman's 5th goal, and they now go to a 4-goal lead. They lead Mallee Park. Tasman's lead 5 goals to Mallee Park 1 goal.
A huge potential, as you can see. And I just figured, well, what have we got to lose? So did it. And, yeah.
Rest is history.
So, yeah.
It's amazing it's amazing what a transformation and influence that Feegs had, though.
Goes back, takes the handsball straight on to McCurry. McCurry goes back under his left foot. It's a long left foot kick right down the middle. Up they go, and it's a good mark to the Tasman coach, who's probably 40 metres out in front, directly out in front. Steve Fiegert puts the ball down, lines up, taking plenty of time, taking lots of time. The players have all dropped back, comes down, he's going to kick from about 40 metres. He's done a drop punt, and it's good, and it's straight through, and that's 2 goals to Tasman's in the first minute.
You know, considering we're 2/3 through the season, and I reckon we had about 5 or so games left, as you indicated, but it was just like a whole change of thought process, and we actually really believed we could do it.
And from that point on, when he was appointed coach, the whole club changed. The feeling within the playing group changed. We were suddenly, you know, back in the race for the premiership, and we played some pretty good football under Feegs.
Steve Milton takes a good mark, goes straight on his left foot, kicks it in real long, and made no mistake and put it straight through the centre.
And he wasn't, you know, it was nothing special. It was just he had a calming influence. He gave people roles to play.
And we went on to win the premiership, and it was such a huge difference in the coaching methods. And I can distinctly remember the first game we played with this new coach, we won, and at the end of the game he made a really good speech, and one of our members said, he said, it's like a breath of fresh air. He was the difference in the end. That was a pretty ballsy move from the committee to sack a coach mid-season. It could backfire on you, but all the players yelled after that.
That's the other thing I did. The first game we had, no, the first, that when we won the round robin thing at the start of the year, I'd never played for Tasmans before. Came in, we'd won the whole day. We settled. The room was empty. 10 minutes after, no one had showers there. They all went home for showers, and that was it.
So there you are. But yeah.
And I just thought, hang on, we've just won this round robin footy day, and there's no team camaraderie here. In fact, yeah, they went home, and then I went up to Scholes's place with Mark Milton's mates, and there's 4 or 5 of us just went up there and sat and thought, well, there's no culture. There's no anyway. So the first game we played, I wrote a letter to the club and said, I want 2 cartons of beer in the team in the rooms after every game.
Great.
And so we started getting a bit of
bonding
together, and yeah, did the job. That's when I hand out beers then made me think of that.
Yeah.
We certainly, after that moment, our footy got a hell of a lot better. Started to win more games, and I think probably in the last meeting against South, we might have seen an improvement there as well. It'll come to that game a bit later, but here we beat Mallee Park by 4 goals, who ultimately would go on and beat in the grand final.
Did you actually beat them at Mallee Park that year? Or?
I think they beat us at Stanford and we beat them at Mallee Park. So once again, we had Marble Rangers measure and waybacks. I think we probably had on the wood on waybacks throughout the year as well.
You don't need to pause it, but Steve Milton's like a footy digest. He lives and breathes it. He loves it.
Oh, Roosters home in a thriller. That was against waybacks at Stanford. 14 goals to 13, so always a close game with him.
Anyway, that's what happened, and I still to this day feel for the old Clements, the coach. I really do feel for him, because I reckon he might, in the days before, he might have got away with it. But because we were so intent, and this was the one.
Yeah, you couldn't just...
I just couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the sort of guy you could say, tone it down, he'd tell you to get knotted. So you couldn't have that either. I mean, the committee was trying that hard, couldn't be told to... Never mind, it's gone.
Well, you won.
We won.
Yeah. You won.
Really won.
I'm a man of a few words. You've spoken stuff, so I won't say too much. Congratulations to all the Tasmans guys, the Tasman supporters and everyone who is backing us today. 15 years it's been, we've made history. Commiserations to Mallee Park, they put up a gallant effort. Congratulations to them, they've been a good team all year, and hell, I thought we were gone there for a while. Thanks very much to anyone involved with this premiership. Thank you.
First semi-finals, it was 13 goals to 2. We bet waybacks. So to beat a team in the first semi-final by 11 goals, and it's been close all year, that was showed us that we're in pretty good form. And
who kicked the goals that day? Fiegert or?
Steve Fiegert 4, Andrew Wolford and yours truly 3.
There you
go. We were the underdogs for that match. That was a good win, and all our good players were firing. We got to the prelim after Mallee Park upset Lincoln South in the second semi.
And that was an amazing year because Lincoln South were definitely hot favourites. Yes. They beat us easily each time we played them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we actually finished 4th, we must have. Yep. Played way back, so I can remember that morning waking up and it was bloody pouring with rain. I thought, oh no, this is going to be a real slog.
Yeah.
But we beat them easily.
Yeah.
And of course then Mallee Park beat Lincoln South, and we were sort of thinking, oh shit, we've got to play the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Because can you remember this, Gardy? During that year we played Mallee Park twice out at Mallee Park. And the first game, I believe, we won with a kick from Stephen Fiegert after the siren.
Okay.
And then the next time we played them, they won with a kick after the siren.
Okay.
So we had, but then we played them last minor round game, I reckon, before going into the finals, and they beat us easily.
Okay.
And of course, then away we went and we beat Lincoln Souths on that prelim, and man, that was like our grand final. And then we sort of had to say, "Oh shit, we're going to play in the grand final next week. We better get organised."
Yeah.
So.
And you know, we saw that if we win this game, we're in a big show in the grand final, because we thought Lincoln South were a better team than Mallee Park. Mm-hmm. So our grand final probably come a week early, but we got past South. They had a pretty good team, but I think Phil Stanley stood Jackamara.
Did he really?
Jackamara had reach.
Mm-hmm. Out front.
Well, I was lucky enough to coach Jackamara, and I was also lucky enough to see some good footballs in Adelaide and in the old VFL. Played against a few of those guys, and he's still probably one of the best footballers I've seen. You know, Gary Ablett, Russell Ebert, Barry Robin, because I was lucky enough to see Jackamara every night at training. It's just a shame he had an alcohol problem, and it's a shame he didn't go somewhere in his football. He was unbelievable. Do you know the West Coast Eagles were going to build their side when they come into the VFL around him. He was playing in Kalgoorlie. As an 18-year-old, he kicked 250 goals.
Wow!
Yeah, he was the sensation, and he could play. And we saw him again right at the end when he was fat, and he said back in those days, he used to say I could jump in those days, but hell, he could play football.
How did we get Jackamara to South? Because he come from WA, didn't he? Or did he just come to town, or?
Yeah, no, he came
straight from WA.
Yeah, and he played a trial game up at Whyalla, and I heard about this Jackamara.
So he'd moved to town on his own esteem.
Yeah. And of course, he got sacked from the club because he hit Ralph Glass. And I then, when I come in coaching, I talked him into getting him back. And I used to be able to control him. I used to pick him up on his veranda every, before the game. I used to take him to training, used to take him to football. And he'd always have, when I pick him up, he's had his echo. Anyway, that was bothering me. Anyway, we were out at Stanford one day and I said to him, no more drinking before the game and all that. And he didn't. I come and picked him up next week and he was not drinking. And then he kicked, 4 or 5 goals. Next week, picked him up, wasn't drinking, only kicked a 6 or something. Following week he said to me, KC, he said, no good. He said, I'm drinking again. I couldn't do anything about it. I could never stop him. Anyway, he kicked 18. And then next week he kicked a 11, then he kicked a 12. And
well, your game was the preliminary final, playing a Robert Jackamara.
Yeah, that was one I knew we had to get over.
He's taller than you.
Yeah, and a bit.
His arms are twice as long.
And a bit heavier. And a bit heavier, yeah.
It
was a bit of a challenge, and Andy Smith and I tag teamed, I think, and just kept the pressure on him all day. And
he only kicked.
Actually, Robert Jackamara only kicked 2. So, and Phil Stanley, who stood him, got best player, spinner.
As he should have.
For Tasmans.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that was a massive win for us.
You better go and talk to Phil.
You better go and talk to Spinner.
Yeah, so I just they were undefeated Lincoln South, and I knew in the back of my mind if we were going to get over him, I had to try and keep him to a lower target. I didn't
under 10.
I didn't. Oh well, he kicked 8 on me the previous all the minor round games. He kicked 8 every week, and you was just always climbing over him. It was a bit like a fox terrier on the back of a German shepherd. And
Phil Stanley's a very hard man.
Yeah.
With a great approach to the footy, and you basically couldn't kill him with a stick. But he's not that big.
He's not that big, so he's given away a fair bit of height to Jackamar, and Jackamar had reach. And
he held in about 1 goal. He was a copper at the time. I think he was threatening Jackamar with all sorts of. I don't know.
Is that right?
I don't
He would
know
have been.
because he was playing for South that year.
Anyway, that's
You did the job.
That's history.
Binner, you're a ledge.
He was good for the team. He was much like a member of the side. Roosters into the grand final. A few weeks back, the thought of South not playing in the football grand final would never have been considered, yet they are now history. I think we won by 2 or 3 goals. It was, it was no easy win, but we got past them and we set ourselves for the grand final. We had a couple of players under an injury cloud that had to have tests during the week, and
Who were they?
Well, Glenn Murphy was one. He had a really dodgy hamstring.
And how much is Tasman's going to win by, mate?
I don't know. 5 points.
5? Boy. I'd rather hear better than that. Any advance on that?
It's a win.
It's a win.
It's a win. It's 5 points.
That's close enough.
And a few others are carrying some sore spots because we'd played 2 hard finals on
3 big games.
Pretty heavy Centenary Oval because it was a pretty wet year. So we're coming up against Mallee Park pretty fresh. Leading into that grand final, but we picked our best team. I don't think there's too many that missed out that, of our best players. So I think we had a full team.
But they were.
Kim Nisbet, unfortunately, was ruled out. So, and I think he got an injury sort of towards the latter half of the year. So he missed out. I think he might have been captain that year.
It's grabbed by Reynolds Road from the throw and handball straight to him. Mallee Park player picked up by Milton. It was called play on by the umpire. It's a tall one. Miller tried to mark. It was knocked down onto the ground again. It's picked up by Tasman's. Tasman's still in there. It's picked up again by Lewis, who handball straight to Nisbet. Nisbet goes into a goal and has kicked Tasman's second goal.
Nisbet.
Yeah, Nizzy. I can't remember what happened to him.
Great player.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Did he was injured. He injured himself. He must have got injured. I don't think.
But a great player.
Yeah, brilliant player. He was
a bulldozer.
He was in and under. Like he was always on the bottom of the packs and very strong, very solid, and good use of the football too. Very balanced when he ran and kicked the football, and always found a target up forward when he came out of the middle of the ball. No, Nugget fed him very well.
Nisbet takes a fine mark, plays on quickly, moves into the centre of the ground.
So it would have been handy to have in the team.
John's at centre half back, moves the forward, moves it into the centre of the ground where Nisbet takes a fine mark, plays on, handball goes over to Easterman, Air Peninsula into attack, a lot of youth players running around for Air Peninsula. It's snapped by, who's that player?
Stephen Slade, number 6.
And I think it's another goal on the board for Air Peninsula.
He ran the lap with us at the end.
Yep.
So yeah, we going into the grand final, we get a dream start. Like it's 11 goals to 1 at quarter time.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
On that particular day, Tom's brother Steve was playing, and one of the fellows, Smith his name was, he was very rough and rugged for Mallee Park, and he belted Steve.
This game, Steve Milton got hit in the second quarter.
And there's another long kick from Mollis. He puts it right in.
Bloody dirty bastard he was.
Yes.
Number 18.
Yeah, Smith.
I had a couple of runners with him during the year.
Goes still the
You would have done.
front door. There's been a hit behind play. Milton got a beauty behind play.
And Steve went up to the hospital and got a big cut stitched up in his lip, came back and played the rest of the game.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah. Stephen Milton. What do you think about tomorrow's big game, fellas? You got a tip for me?
Personally, I think we'll do it fairly easy. But what do you think of the margin, Andy? I don't know. I reckon it'll be pretty close, but we should do it.
Yeah, as long as you win, I guess, is the main thing, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, best of luck tomorrow, fellas.
He was that sort of player that normally somebody would have stitches and they wouldn't go back on the ground, but he demanded to go back.
Ads goes to the ground. Tasman's there. Mallee Park are there. It's every and it's really close right up there. and the umpires decided that.
Here's where they start headhunting, and this is where they lose it.
That's right.
And the ball was tied right up there.
Two of our guys went to hospital for treatment and come back on. Steve Milton had stitches in his head. He came on and played. Yeah. And who was the other one? I'm trying to think. And they were just getting 50-metre penalties against them because they were going for the heads.
Branford's the one who's got the ball. He comes down looking for Fiegert. Fiegert gets the ball knocked away from him. The ball comes down to Johncock. Johncock gets back onto it. Kicks the ball down. The ball goes bouncing down towards the line, and there's a free kick there, and this time the free kick is going to go to Tasmans for once again for a hit behind play.
Sorry, they just started swinging, didn't they?
Phil Stanley, by the looks, take the kick.
Yeah, they do. When they're behind, then they come out and start swinging, try and put the other team off. But
which did you a favour on that occasion?
Well, it did. It did do us a favour. I mean, they took a couple of tough blokes there. Like, I think, Smithy got belted in the mouth and by fairly severe. Steve Milton copped one as well. So,
but every time they hit Robot, he just got up, took his 15-metre penalty, trotted up the ground, and then...
Yeah, all that does to Smithy, it's like just put a bit more petrol on the fire.
That's right.
Dudley goes in with a long kick into the forward lines, and it's a real good mark back there by Andy Smith of Tasmans. And once again, there's another 50-metre penalty because the Mallee Park player would not let the Tasman player go. Now, the Tasman player, there's no one within 20 yards of the mark. The Tasman player can run on, which he does do. He kicks the ball, kicks it in high, and Lewis calls out very strongly to Murphy, and he takes the mark.
So our centre-half back, he was a very tough, hard man.
Yeah.
And his name was Andrew Smith.
Yeah.
And the Smith from Mallee Park was Anthony, I think, Anthony Smith.
Yep.
The ball's cleared right away by Colby. Colby goes down through the middle of the ground, and there's a good mark to the Tasman footballer and a 50-metre penalty for pulling the player down after the player had taken the mark. But Colby picks the ball up. He goes in, takes a long kick down into the forward lines. There they set themselves up. The ball, and it's a good mark there to the Tasman player. And that's Smith. Andy Smith has taken a very solid mark back there in the back lines. Jancock handballs across to Carvany. Carvany goes through the centre of the ground, kicks the ball in. They set themselves. Smith on the back of the pack puts his fist to it. Right on the... He goes for a short one. Andy Smith's in the way, and Andy takes a good mark. And he took that mark there. It was misdirected kick by Mallee Park through Kingsley Bilney. Smith goes for the kick, comes down to the... Ronnie Evans in front, takes a good mark. Colby's out there by himself at the centre. He marks the ball. He kicks it up high. Played straight on. Smith's back there, and Smith takes another mark in the defence for Tasmans. He goes, this time goes across the ground, looking for Casanova. And this time will be Casanova's kick. The player went into his back. Knocked on by Mallee Park. Mallee Park has got the ball through Roger Johncock. He goes looking for, but he kicks it straight to Smith. Smith goes for the kick. The old bloke Raymond Davey. The old bloke Raymond Davey came in and hit Smith after he'd kicked the ball, and the penalty kick has gone down the ground of Tasmans.
And Smithy just stood there all day, just putting his hands up, taking mark after mark, and every time this Smith bloke would just belt him in the back of the head.
Goes in, kicks the ball in. Players all set themselves, and there was a good mark to the Tasman player back there, and that was Andy Smith. Andy Smith goes back for his kick. He kicks it in, kicks it high.
He was a sod of a thing, that Smith.
Yeah.
He'd rather cripple you than get the ball.
Yeah.
Coates comes in to bounce, bounces the ball. Ball goes up high. Reynolds Rose in ruck for Tasman. He gets the knock, goes on down. It's picked up very well by Mallee Park. It's handballed on to Dudley. Dudley with a left foot kick in, but Smith was right under the line to take the mark and caught one very high and will get the free kick. Goes for his kick. He kicks it up high. Reynolds Rose there. So that comes off Tasmans. All Tasmans there. Picked up by Murphy. Murphy kicks it out wide. Under the Casanova. Casanova tries to dodge over. Gets rid of the ball. Kicks it down onto the ground. Picked up there, knocked onto there by Wolford. Wolford knocked it on to Casanova. Casanova goes for the kick. It's a missed kick. The Mallee Park player tries to knock, kicks it on the peach. Branford's after the ball. Branford picks it up, runs to an open goal, and he has kicked the goal, and that is Tasman's 13th. Tasman's now go to 13 goal 5, and they are leading Mallee Park 3 goals 3, and we've played nearly 10 minutes, or just on 10 minutes into this quarter.
Smithy's nickname was Robot, and he was exactly, there's nothing you could do that would knock him down. He was just unbelievable. And I remember that night up the football club, he had cuts and bloody, he couldn't eat his tea, he was bloody, but he had a big smile. So.
Yeah, no, he was very good.
Yeah, so no, that was a good, because that was a bit out of the blue because we probably weren't expected to win, but...
Yeah.
Well, when you play Mallee Park, you know, it's all offence for them. Doesn't matter how many goals you score, they're probably going to kick more. Just around that era, they just they had an awesome team. You know, Joe Burgoyne, Lincoln Dudley, lots of Millers, lots of Dudleys, lots of Burgoynes. They just it was all out attack.
Once again, it's backed by Mallee Park. Handball's on to Colby. Colby goes in with a long raking kick, and he finds the player there. Player goes around, handballs it on to Lincoln Dudley. Lincoln Dudley takes plenty of time, runs into an open goal, and Lincoln Dudley has kicked the goal.
Yeah, I think at one stage we were 13 goals to 3, and we only finished up with 16 for the match, and that was in the second quarter. And with Mallee Park, you always knew they were going to have a run on, and very attacking side. And once they got their tails up, very difficult to stop. I can remember playing them. They'd have a 10-goal quarter, inevitably, sometime during a game. That was my experience with that team, and
they just it was all out attack. If you turn the ball over, they could take it from one end of the ground to the other.
Paul goes back for a look. He goes forward, puts it right down to the forward lines, down on the up. The big pack flies. There's a big pack up. No mark allowed. It's handballed out by Mallee Park. Mallee Park now running it down through. There's one bounce. Now the ball's gone astray. Coming up, Poison running. They're all running still at the pool. It's kicked straight across the centre of the ground. Was picked up by Damien Kent. Damien Kent goes straight down the middle of the ground, where he finds number 10, which is Jonathan Warrior. Jonathan Warrior going to take his kick. Montgomery stands the mark, puts the mark. Goes to run on, but can't go on until the umpire calls play on. Jonathan Warrior kicks the ball. It's a long, tall pedo, and when it hits the ground, it's picked up by Norm Pickett, who drops it. It's knocked out by Reynolds Rowe. Picked up by Little, tries to turn out. Back to Burgoyne. Burgoyne tries to go through the pack, puts a screw punt onto his... Sorry, a check side punt.
On this particular day, what is it? We were 5 goals apiece at quarter time, 15 goals to 14 their way at half time, 2 points in it at 3/4 time, and then they kicked 10 goals in the last quarter to win by 7 goals. They just blow you away. They, you know, say any other time you kick 25 goals in a game, you expect to win, but.
Miller goes high, it's picked up by Mallee Park, it's cleared away to Joey Burgoyne. Joey Burgoyne kicks it long. Little, it's kicked on, well, this time picked up by Lincoln Dudley. Lincoln Dudley turns around and he makes no mistake and kicks the goal. Miller comes in against, and this time Miller gets it, but it's picked up by Burgoyne, dropped by Burgoyne. Tim Carvey takes it out. This time he gets the kick away. Kicks it down long. Montgomery ties up, comes over the back. Picked up by number 15 for Mallee Park, who goes through and kicks a goal, and that was Alvin Catenary. Bounce it up. Up goes Miller, puts it down. 10 picks it up, tries to handballs along the ground. Goes a lot, picked up by Reynolds Road, stops the ball, breaks in from the centre. Shane Dudley goes through with the ball. Handballs it on to Pickett. Pickett goes for a long kick. The boys run through. The ball bounces through for a very lucky goal to Pickett. Paul Casanova will take the kick. Paul Verdovin kick this high. Kicks it, puts it in high to Prime. They all aim for it. It comes down off ground. Nesbitt picked up by Rudd. Rudd miss handballs. Picked it up again. Gives it across to... Now it's picked up by Stephen Milton, who hooks a goal. Well played, Stephen Milton. Tasman's had a quick reply. There's been 3 goals kicked already in this quarter in approximately 1.5 minutes of time. The ball bounces down, hit across by Pickett. Thrust to Joe Burgoyne. Joe Burgoyne throws it straight onto his leg, and it's marks taken by Marcus Little. Little's kicked 4 at this stage for the day, so he's been pretty well held by Hamilton. Goes in for his kick. And once again, the umpire doesn't move, and that's another goal to Mallee Park. Umpire calls play on. It's actually knocked out of his hands. They're still battling along for it. Picked up very quickly. Kicked the Kenny Davey. Kenny Davey has a shot for goal, and Kenny Davey has kicked the goal. The ball's back at the centre. Umpire bounces the ball. Whoever it goes up gets the knock, puts it down, and hits the player. Kenny Davey gets up, throws it out. Lincoln Dudley goes away with it, kicks it down the bottom side. Hamilton goes straight through, handballs it down on the ground to get away from trouble. Doesn't go anywhere. It's back to Lincoln Dudley. Lincoln Dudley has a shot for goal, and he kicks another goal, and suddenly Tasmans find themselves 5 goals down once again.
I could probably, there's a few occasions where we've played Mallee Park. When I played down there, I reckon there was a game where we actually kicked more than 25 and lost again against Mallee Park. And one day I remember, it was a Sunday game and I was driving past Poole Oval, and if it was on the southern side of the oval, you could see the scoreboard on the northern side, but it was sort of obscured, so you could only see Boston score. And I reckon they had, it was late in the last quarter obviously, but they had 30-odd goals. I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's an upset, you know, that's a massive win for Boston's. The only trouble is Mallee Park kicked about 38 goals, so they just...
Kicks it to Kingsley Bilney. Kingsley Bilney decides to play straight on. He handballs it straight out to John Cox. John Cox got it. He goes around to Miller. Miller handballs it on. The long kick comes straight in. Smith gets under it for Tasman. 2 Tasman players collide. Picked up by... That was picked up then on the knockdown by Dodd, who kicked it on. And it was picked up by Raymond Davey, and Raymond Davey has kicked the goal.
You end up with that sort of perceived pressure from that sort of thing.
Yeah, because they've done it before and they do it all the time. They run down teams, and you know, to them, like a 10-goal lead is nothing.
Quarters.
They can claw it back, and they did on many occasions. And
yeah, they got within, I think it was about 3 points in the last quarter.
With a shot at goal, yes.
Yeah, it was very, very, very close in that last quarter, and I reckon it was Mick McCurry rebounded off the half-back line and kicked it down to Tony Lewis, and he kicked the goal. And then we got it out of the middle again, and it went back to Louis. Louis kicked the last 2 goals, and then we got up by that 15 points. But it was getting pretty touch and go in the end there, and I think there was a few nervous spectators around that were wondering whether they're actually going to get over the line in the end.
A couple of them went into the change rooms and didn't emerge until the final siren, I believe.
Yeah, no. Interesting end.
Very tight, actually. You can see that by the players not going in for the... Mallee Park once again comes through the centre. Through goes Mundy. Mundy's got hold of the ball. And this is a free kick to Mundy. And he'd be at about the 45 metre mark. And this is to put Mallee Park in front for the first time for the game if he kicks this. He's taken plenty of time. Players are leading. They've got Raymond Davey down at full forward. He's taken plenty of time over his kick. He kicks it. It hasn't quite got the distance. The players go up. It wasn't held by the Mallee Park player. He hands the ball on to Peach. Peach takes a run. He takes one bounce. He goes across. Kicks it across. Oh, there's all Mallee Park. He goes on to Kingsley Bilney. Kingsley Bilney goes back. He handballs it back to Timothy Dudley. Timothy Dudley pulls it up. Picked up by Tony Lewis. Tony Lewis puts it on the ground. It's on the ground. They're all covered up there, and the umpire will come in and bounce it. Umpire comes in a bounce right up the centre. Ball goes up. Knocked down. Milton goes in for it. Misses the ball. Overrun by the Mallee Park player. Picked up by Tasman. No, the Tasman player can't pick it up. Goes through again to Milton. Picked up by Gary Arvin. Gary Arvin hands it down to Rowett. Rowett's battling over the ball. He gets hold of it. He gets it out. Picked up by Mallee Park again. Then there it goes. Thrown out there from the pack. Picked up by a Tasman player. Can't see. And I think the umpire will come in and bounce once again. Ball comes down, bounced. Ball's in Tasman's forward line, come down off the pack. The umpire will once again, I'd say, will come in and bounce it once again. We're in about 22 minutes, about 3 minutes off the time on. There's been 5 goals kicked in this quarter. Tasmans are holding a slender lead by 3 points. Up the ball goes high. Bulford gets over it, kicks it up long, kicks it into the forward line. Ball bounces over the pack. It's a runner for the run of the players here. Mallee Park player goes to kick it and it goes out of bounds. It was just touched on the line. And that was let off there for Mallee Park. It's the player there just got his hand to it in time. Ball's down in the forward line, picked up by Miller again. He's pushed off the ball. And Mallee Park take it away. There's a kick there. Andy Rowe comes in to try and help John. It's handball to straight across. The handball goes astray. Rowett's on there again. Rowett's got it. He can't get out of trouble. He knocks the ball on. Picked up by McCurry. McCurry goes for a long kick. He belts it in. Lewis under the ball, and Tony Lewis has taken a mark approximately 15 or 20 metres out from goal. This is a very vital goal, very vital kick. Lewis going back. He kicks it high, the umpire does not move, it's a goal.
But their team, I will say their team wasn't their strongest.
Joe Burgoyne out was significantly.
Joe was the coach. I can't remember why he wasn't playing or whether he even played any more football after that. I think he did, but he certainly wasn't playing in that grand final, and his on-field presence would have made a hell of a difference. Just their discipline, they weren't a very disciplined team without him on the field. They were a bit of a rabble actually. If you watch the grand final replay, the amount of 50-metre penalties they gave away was just, and that's why we kicked so many goals in that first quarter, because they were going the length of the ground. They give a free in their forward lines and suddenly we're having a shot at goal from 50-metre penalties.
Yep. The ball comes down, a long kick. Tasman has set himself. Miller's the only one there for the ball and takes a strong mark. He goes straight on, kicks the ball straight on. The ball comes down, picked up by the Tasman player. Handball's back to Miller. Miller tries to play on, handballs it across. Ball's knocked back by Tasman's. It goes on to Wallace. Wallace goes for the kick into, and I would say that'll be a 50-metre to Tasman's. The ball was marked by Wayne Bramford and he will go straight down, and this is a certain goal for Tasman's as he's been taken down to the right to the goal line and directly in front. The umpires are showing that they're not going to take anything at all, and Bramford makes no mistake and puts it through for the first goal of this quarter. Tasmans now go to a 12-goal 5 to 1-goal 2 lead.
I didn't see the second quarter. I was in hospital getting stitches, but when I come back, they were only 4 or 5 goals down. So that's well within reach for them, and they just kept on getting closer and closer. Even though we had a pretty good third quarter, they were still only, I think, 4 goals down at three-quarter time, and then they kicked a couple of early ones in that last quarter.
Okay, here we go. This is a do-or-die quarter for both sides. Tasman's lead by 21 points. The ball's bounced. Mallee Park gets the belt the ball away. Picked up by Ronnie Evans. He has handled the ball. Goes to the ground. Picked up by Tim Peach. He goes back onto his right leg. Kicks it around the ground. There is chased by Mallee Park. Picked up by Mallee Park. Goes for a high kick. Players get back under it. And this ball's played on. Goes on to Murphy. Murphy gets a high one. The ball goes over the line for a throw in right at the centre line. Right on centre wing. Ball goes back. It's a long throw. Andy Rowe gets it. Handball's back to Wallace. Wallace heads balls, kicks it in the player. Got kicked off the ground by Mallee Park. Through comes Smith. Smith picks it up. He goes for the long high kick. Tasman players set themselves. Down and comes to the ground. Picked up by Mallee Park. Mallee Park through Kingsley Bill, and he comes straight through. He kicks it in there. Ball's touched. Doesn't go over the line. Picked up by Mallee Park. Handballs, Andy Rowe gets it. He handballs it onto Smith. Smith with his left foot. And there will be a free kick there for after the picked up by Murphy. Murphy's taken the kick. Plays on. Handballs it on to Miller. Miller takes plenty of time. Kicks it up high. Puts the players under a lot of pressure. Good mark there by Mallee Park, which was Warrior. Warrior goes in for a long kick. Ball comes down. The players all waited for it. Through goes Oh, that was well. That was a. There was a good bit of play there by Lincoln Dudley.
Because they got to within 3 points of us, and then all of a sudden Louis unleashed and took a couple of big marks.
Big marks, big left leg goals. You know how they left leggers often kick those big goals.
We've had over 5 minutes of time on already. Very vital kick. Lewis is lining up, left foot, kicks it long, kicks it high, and he has kicked it. Tasmans now go to a 15-point lead.
Louis.
They now lead 18 goals 12 to 16 goal 9. That's a 15-point lead now to Tasmans. And, well, probably not quite 5 minutes time on. I thought it was over the 5 minute mark, but it may be just on the 5 minute mark now.
I was actually a selector.
Yep.
And I can remember a discussion on the Thursday night, and Louis was a great footballer, but he'd had a bit of a quiet period.
Certainly had.
The talk was that we were either going to leave him out, and I think we were going to play Toby Cardew, who went on to, he was only a kid, but we decided that we'd go with Tony.
Yep. Stanley comes in to kick the ball in, goes down to the bottom. He looks there, that's a very poor kick. Tasman's could be in a little bit of strife here. Wallace trying to pick it up. Wallace gets down over the ball. He's grabbed too high and he has got the kick for a high tackle. And he's having trouble getting up. Now he's up. He's got the ball. Goes for a short pass. He looks for Casanova. Casanova's got it. There's no one near him. No, it wasn't. It was Andy Rowe. Andy Rowe goes for the kick. Kicks it down. And there was a good mark there to Casanova at Tasman's. He goes back for his kick. He kicks it in long, comes right in long. Fiegert gets in under the ball. Oh, and that's a free kick to Fiegert. The Mallee Park player just put his hand on his back and came straight through. And he'll take the kick from around about the 48 metre line. They're all looking for, he goes in long, kicks it in long. They all get under the ball. Lewis takes the mark, and there's a good mark to Lewis. Tony Lewis had his eye on the ball all the way, and he was determined that was his ball. Tony's lining up for Tasman's third for this quarter. He's kicked it, and there's no worry. That's straight through the middle. The goal umpire gives the two hands up, and Tasmans now go to 14 goals 7, and they're leading Mallee Park 6 goal 4. Tasman's still got a 51-point advantage.
Tony Lewis there, he come from Streaky Bay, and he was a high flyer, and he kicked, I think he won the association goal kicking Port Lincoln one year, the first year he come there, I think, 60 or 70 goals.
Because he could play.
Yeah, very good player, Tony Lewis.
Between centre wing and the forward flank for Tasmans. Ball's going to be thrown in just off the centre wing towards, grabbed by Miller out of the ruck. He kicks it up high. Through come Fiegert, missed the ball. Picked up by the Tasman player. He handballs, kicks it on. And there it goes down here. In the race to the lead of the ball. Casanova gets there. Oh, McCurry got there with a beautiful left turn. Keeps himself out of trouble and got a free kick for a high tackle. That was well done there by McCurry. He showed done it under pressure. He kicks the ball in a long rake. Lewis gets under it. Lewis takes a good mark.
Sorry. I was a selector for this game and bench coach along with Tom. And Tony Lewis, Thursday night, he hadn't been performing that well on Thursday night selection coming, and we were doing the interchange, and I said, bugger it, I'm going to go and get Tony Lewis and let's talk to him. And got him up to the selection table and said, Louis, are you keen on playing? Are you going to give us an effort? And he said, yes, I will. And I think he kicked 3 goals.
Lewis going back. He kicks it high. The umpire does not move. It's a goal.
But Tony Lewis, he's a great bloke too, actually.
He is?
Yep. I think he's back at Streaky now, isn't he?
Yep. Got a oyster lease.
Oh, does he?
Well, he works for on an oyster lease.
Yeah, oh, okay. I didn't know what he did.
Yep. He used to do tuna fishing back in the day.
Oh, that's right. I was aware of that, actually. Yeah.
I worked with him at Bight Fisheries in Port Lincoln when we played footy together.
Yeah.
Picked up by Phil Stanley. Crossed to Bob Reynolds Road. Reynolds Road dodges around a player. Kicks the ball high. The player set himself. Tony Lewis gets in front and a real good mark to Tony Lewis.
Yeah, well, Tasman's had a bit of a connection there at Bight Fisheries, with Brian Gardner being a store manager, and Colin Freeman was the director of Bight Fisheries. He was heavily mixed up in Tasman's.
Yep, that's Tony Lewis there.
Kicking a goal.
Lining up, left foot, kicks it long, kicks it high, and he has kicked it. Tasman's now go to a 15-point lead.
The filming's terrific because Ron Campbell was doing it.
Yeah, well, see, Ron coached me when I was a colt at United.
Because he's Ungarra.
Yeah, and Brenton's his lad. It's my age, or a year younger than me. Yeah.
Comes into the centre of the ground with the ball, and that's where it's taken there on the 50-metre line by McCurry. McCurry goes for a short pass, and he has found...
Just watching Mick McCurry there, who was a very good player for Tasmans for a lot of years. He was really hard at it. He quite often did a selfless job for the team, like he might be tagging a opposition as best midfielder, but he was a really good player for Tasmans.
Kicks it in. Arbin once again in there. The ball comes down to the ground. Thrown out to John Cox. John Cox kick smothered. It's picked up by McCurry off he goes across to Evans. Evans with a left foot kick goes straight down the middle of the ground. He's looking down there.
I think that might have been Ronnie Evans putting it in there.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my favourite players of all time.
Yeah, Ronnie's a good lad.
Because he was just so hard at it.
Yeah.
He usually came off the ground with blood dripping from his face.
Lincoln Dudley gets the ball, though, comes back onto the ball, kicks it straight on. Good mark there taken by Ronnie Evans. Ronnie Evans goes down, kicks it on his left leg. He looks for Wolford. Wolford tries to pick it up, overruns the ball. And down there the ball is... No, it doesn't go out of bounds. It's grabbed there, and the umpire will come in and bounce.
And he was a likeable character, a quiet character. I'll never forget Sandy, his partner, and she's still together.
Yeah.
Love to
She's
see
terrific.
Yeah.
No, he's one of the greats.
The ball's picked up by Evans. Evans hands balls. Now it's front down by Reynolds Road. It's picked up by Easton. Easton handballs it on. Picked up by Prime. Prime with a long handball out to Lewis. Lewis comes around on his leg and has a shot for goal and kicks a goal.
And in fact, he did his knee in 1990, and I've got that actual footage.
Have you?
Yeah, because that game was filmed.
Yeah.
Ball's been taken by Stephen Lewis. Stephen runs in, looks for someone with a kick, kicks it across the middle of the ground. Kicks it straight to a Mallee Park player, and Angelo Burgoyne. Angelo kicks it in, a good one-handed mark there, taken by Albin Cartinery, who kicks it into his left leg, hits the ground. Ronnie Evans takes him. Little goes in, loses his body, kicked off the ground by Hamilton. And this time it's going to be a kick in danger by Hamilton. At this stage, the umpires stop play.
When I mentioned probably some of the better players for Tasmans, well then there's Ron Evans. He just a great club man. Once again, hard at it. Like not a guy you'd like to stand because you'd really have to earn your kicks.
Mallee Park player kicks it in. This time goes down to the bottom. The ball's down there, and Rowe expected to come to the game very quickly. Picked up by Mallee Park. Lose the player. Long handball down to the centre of the ground. Kicked off the ground by Mallee Park, but taken back there by Ron Evans, who took an uncontested mark. He goes for a short pass. He looks for Casanova.
Heart and soul of the club.
Well, Tim Peach there, that played a couple of years with us, a very polished footballer from the southeast. And I'm a very good friend of Tim's, and we've kept in contact for a long time. And the discussion always, and Tim loves his footy, and discussion always comes up. You know, who would be one of your first picked footballers? And without hesitation, Tim always says Ron Evans. Ron Evans, he said. He was very So
Lewis has passed off, but he's missed the man, I think.
Mark taken by Ron Evans for Lincoln City. He plays.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ron Evans.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was hard.
Rarely beaten.
Rarely beaten. Yeah. And he was always undersized.
Yes.
In the contest, but
now drives it out to the half back area for Lincoln City. Ron Evans gets in there quite nicely.
And he'd come off with that, you know, all the blood and the sweat and everything like that, and he would have won his position.
Oh, yeah.
Ball on the wing. Ronnie Evans going for the ball here. Manages to get around one player. Handballs over to Mick Packer.
He's just like, you know, a bit of a grin like, oh yeah.
Ronnie Evans.
Ronnie Evans, yeah, really good friend of mine, Ronnie, and his father's a legend at the footy club too. You know, one of my favourite trainers over the years, I reckon, at the football club.
Yep.
But Ron at centre half back, again, like Poison, I played a lot of footy next to Ron on the half back flank before I went back to full back. Yeah, a brilliant footballer, Ron. Read the ball well, strong, took an excellent flying mark and rebounded the football extremely well off the half back line. Good lad.
And Jonathan, they're going no distance, just straight through. This time he goes straight down the centre of the ground. Ronnie Evans with a top mark, straight over the top of a pack with a mighty mark. Gets up quick, kicks it straight on. Marked by Sargent.
I'll tell you what, I also gave a big raps here to Troy Sargent. Remember that, Sarge? Big raps here. Troy Sargent.
Sarge, yeah, Sarge was, he was another player, a bit like Milton, like gifted left and right foot and had really good goal sense.
Started out as a forward in the juniors.
Troy Sargent, our leading goal kicker, Troy Sargent.
For the under 17s.
In the under 17s.
Yep.
Guy comes in to bounce the ball. A reasonable type bounce. Ball's picked up by Weebrick, who lies on the ground. Handballs across. Picked up by Paul Casanova, who kicks the ball forward. Picked up by Troy Sargent. Troy Sargent handballs on. Knocked on well by Tony Lewis. Steve Milton handballs out wide, back to Troy Sargent. Troy Sargent runs into goal and he kicks his first goal for Tasman's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Troy Sargent, he was their main goal kicker.
Up goes Fiegert, that's knocked back by Mallee Park. Mallee Park goes in to pick up, knocks it on, but knocks it straight into Murphy. Murphy goes with a left foot kick and he finds Troy Sargent, and Troy would probably be round about the 35 to 40 metre out. Troy gets onto this, he's a fairly good kick.
Score from Great Flinders, Capini.
Milton is still in the hands of the trainer. He copped a very nasty hit behind the play, but Tasmans have replied with that with another good goal.
Others, of course, Michael Miller.
Yep.
Ruckman.
So it was a long knock there taken by Lewis.
Very strong overhead mark. Kicking wasn't his go.
No.
So he'd quite often handball, and
which is good for those around him.
yeah, most definitely. Feed off him. Great, good. He could do both. He could tap ruck
and
as
mark,
well as advance the ball forward 30, 40 metres with a big punch if he had to.
And Miller's under it, takes a big knock this time.
And just a tireless worker, like
he
a
just
real workhorse.
Lumbered around all day.
He did. He had a big engine and 2 male medals. You know,
and no fear.
No fear. Yeah, back into packs and take the biggest. There's some good ruckmen going around in those days too. Big bodies. He'd take them on and.
Now they've got their running. He takes 2 bounces, 3 bounces. He kicks the ball long. Comes down. Miller sticks under it, and a very strong mark to Miller. He tries to go through the pack. Does handballs and on to Peach. Peach handballs it straight on to Casanova. Casanova with his left foot kicks it down onto the forward flank. Was picked up by Mallee Park. Mallee Park player handballs it back. Through goes Branford. Branford knocked it on brilliantly towards Tasman goals. Picked up there. Oh, Branford followed it through, and he will get the free kick.
He, so I might have said this before, probably a bit of a reluctant footballer. It wasn't his. He'd probably prefer to be surfing, but when we got him on the footy field there, he was 100% football team player.
By Mallee Park, grabbed by Miller. Miller gets grabbed, but he gets rid of the kick very well.
Just
and the ball.
An awesome player. I think he left Lincoln, went over, and it was quite successful when he went over the West at the club he played for there and at association level. I reckon he might have won some association medals as well there. So.
Nugget Miller, incidentally, was Boston's player.
Is that right?
In the juniors. And he won the under 14s, under 15s male medal for Boston's.
For the association?
Yeah, for the association. And I knew he was going to win it because I was umpiring and I gave him first preference votes 4 times.
The reserve umpires there pulling players off. In the meantime, the action's back in the centre of the ground where the ball's picked up by John Cock, handballed across to Dudley. Dudley handballs it across to Dodd. Nearly lost it, picks it up, goes round on his left leg, kicks the ball down to the forward line. Knocked on there by Miller. Miller's got the ball. He handballs it out. Picked out to the Tasman player, who kicks it down to Wallace. Wallace kicks it out. There's all Mallee Park there. No Tasman at all. In comes Cassino. Roger Johncock gets the ball. He goes in for a long kick. The Bulls players get back under it, and it goes through for 1 point.
And yeah, the male medal votes here. Nugget 20 votes. So Graham Charlton 16. So, because I remembered on our banner as we ran out. So Nugget won the
I was
male
going to say Nugget. I remember when he first started playing A grade.
Yep.
It was in 1990, I reckon. He might have played one or two in 89, but 1990 really. When he wasn't surfing, he was...
Yeah, he was a, what would you call it, a reluctant footballer. I think he enjoyed his football, but it wasn't
his priority.
No, definitely not. I remember when, I reckon it might have been when he won this male medal, and he won a retrospective one where they used to go on the count back. So he ended up winning 2.
Really? Yeah.
But this year, we went to the medal count. I think it was up at Tasman's club rooms, and he didn't attend, which is what you'd expect him to.
No.
But he's won the male medal, so I thought, well, sure, we've got to find him. We've got to, you know...
Because it's a bit embarrassing not to have the medal winner there.
Oh, not so much to get... Well, yeah, we probably would have tried to get a photo for the Times or whatever, but no, just to celebrate with him the fact that he won the male medal.
Okay, yep.
We catch up with him, track him down at his house. Oh, congratulations, you're a male medalist. He said, oh, okay. He said, I said, well, let's go back to the club, have some beers. And he said, oh, I'm actually watching the surfing video. Just, you know, like...
Nothing fazed him, you know, he just was easy come, easy go. But my God, once he got out in that oval, he could play football.
Because he'd get on the ground too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Picked up by the Tasman player who kicks the ball out. Ronnie Evans comes through, knocks the ball away. Lincoln Dudley's in there still. There's a long handball.
Nugget, gee, he was a brilliant knocker. Well, I mean, he's a big fella.
On to Ronnie Evans. Ronnie Evans with a left foot kick, looking for Stephen Milton, but doesn't find him, and the ball rolls over the line on the centre wing. Right, this is picked up by Miller, took it from the grab. Oh, it's a top hit back by Wolford. Wolford kicked it on to Milton.
Hands and knees and dig it out the pack.
Yeah, but he was like 6'5", 6'6", or whatever he was. But he'd pick up the ball like a rover. Like he'd rove his own ruck work sometimes off the pack. I've seen him do that several times. Yeah, very, very good player.
Yeah, elbows and knees going out here and there and clearing the way.
Yeah.
Very much a team player, and he was awesome in that grand final win.
He was.
Great player.
Great player.
But yeah, no.
A big grin.
Male medals, nothing.
Seemed to enjoy life, really.
Yeah, always happy.
Miller goes in hard, grabs it again out of ruck, goes for a long kick, kicks it in high. Miller sets himself again, so does Arbin, and there's a good mark taken there by Gary Arbin.
Michael was an exceptional footballer, and you know, I always knew when I was kicking out from full back, I just looked for Mick, and you know, invariably he'd mark it because he just was clunk every time, and he rucked extremely well. Probably could have played, you know, SA League football, I reckon, as a minimum, and who knows, potentially higher than that.
But he's grabbed up, but he gets his kick away, goes to centre, and there's Miller standing there at the centre.
I think Nugget, I took the stats for this game when I watched the replay, and I think Nugget, he had the stats of a midfielder, like probably 30 possessions and lots of handballs, lots of hit outs.
Because he's pretty good on the ground too.
Yeah, he was. He was a guy that would follow up his ruck work. Hands and knees, quite often the bottom of the pack. I mean, that's not the job of a ruckman.
That's how I remember him, on his knees, basically.
Yep.
Because on his knees, he was still 6 foot.
That's true.
But he was just a big body there. He'd be on his knees and rummaging around amongst all these bodies for the ball. I just remember him like...
Fight for the ball like a rover. So he did it all. Very good player. That's just...
He's looking for options. Now he goes around his player. There he goes. He goes for a long spiral kick. Through comes... That was a good call from David Wright, and he's taken the mark. He's gone for a short pass to Bramford, and Bramford's taken a good mark right on the centre wing. He's been told to kick it in long. He kicks it in long, looking for Miller. Miller goes up high, and it's a good mark to Miller.
Poison. Played a great game.
Yeah, Poison. I played a lot of my footy next to Poison in the back lines. You know, he's a brilliant back pocket player, read the ball well, rebounded out of the back line extremely well. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. So, yeah, very sad when I heard about that Poison had passed away. But
one of the great characters, yeah.
Real character around the footy club, great footballer, and good fun to be around.
On the wing side of the 50-metre line. Come in the throw in, ball thrown in. Lewis and ruck for Tasman's knocked on very strongly there by the Mallee Park player, but Rowett came straight through with a long kick, kicked it in, and a big strong mark was taken down there by Fiegert.
I can remember games at Marble Range we used to call in at the car park there just past the Coffin Bay turnoff.
Yep.
And this one night in particular, we were going fairly well, and we had the bushfire going and that, and then it was time to head back to Lincoln. Anyway, one of our dear friends who has just passed away this year, David Poison Rowett, he sort of had a fair skinful, and he was, I think he had actually flaked, or he was sort of, you know, half go-go. So we had this deck chair, so we put the deck chair up on Stephen Lewis's old bloody
Blue
bus,
Holden,
and we tied him on. and we you know, we were very responsible about it. We carefully drove back to Lincoln with Poison sitting up on the deck chair. All the way back to Lincoln, and every now and then Poison would on the roof and bloody pass us another beer.
Classic, what a legend.
So
last time we're going to talk to this play this year. Bloody good effort, fellas. Everybody gave everything they had. We probably at all some stage during the match thought we were stuffed. I know I didn't, I shouldn't have, but you know, they just started running and I thought, were we good enough or not? We ran out of legs, but the old heart started working, and that's what got it for us. Good overall effort, fellas. Make the most of this. Think of it, remember it, because it won't happen that often. It's something that you've got to remember for the rest of your life. So, mate, it's a bloody good time. Thanks for all your supporters. It's great that you've been here through the year for us. The committee that's helped us out, to anyone who's helped in any way, you all deserve it. So, well done.
Three cheers.
Well, I'm going to say a few words, I suppose.
Joey.
I've been on the other side. I think you've been there before. I find it very hard to think about it. I think for you guys, that was a magnificent effort coming from the first semi, going through knocking the way back to normal conditions, then knocking South off, and then coming in the grand final and kicking our ass. Not kicking our ass. We did not, Joey. Steve, I say well done, guys together. I could see it. I think it's great much saw Tasman Football Club. I could see it from the outside. We're starting to mould as a team.
This is incredible. Here's Jamo. Sudsy.
Sudsy, legend.
I reckon it'll be a bit close until about the 5-minute mark of the first quarter.
Oh, right. You're going to keep up with
win probably by about 35 points.
Right. What, that's the first quarter or?
No, end of the game.
Oh, the end of the game, 35 points. Oh, right. Thanks, Alistair.
Sudsy Sellon, what a great man.
Good club person.
Good club person. There's a lot of... In fact, Watto was a pretty good bloke too, actually.
Yeah, good president.
A hard man, but fair.
Very hard.
Yep.
It's picked up by Ronald's and Tasmans have won the 1992 grand final. Tasmans have come out the winners. They have won 18-12 to Mallee Park 16-9. That's the first premiership for Tasman since 1977. It's been a long time, and Tasmans thoroughly deserve it, and they've come from third position, and they've taken out the 1992 grand final. It's a very, very hard quarter. Tasman's kicked 3-1 in that quarter to Mallee Park's 4-1, and commiserations to Mallee Park. They came back very, very hard after quarter time, and Tasmans went on to a great win.
How'd it feel?
Oh, it was
Probably more of a relief than that.
It was a relief.
Fall over the line.
It's a relief because you play your senior football and you think, oh, I'm never going to experience that. You hear others talk about it, what a good feeling it is, and doesn't sort of sink into sometimes a lot of years later. But I think I was, well, for myself personally, I was 28 years old, and I think, oh, like Steve Fiegert, that's just a dream come true, and to be appointed coach halfway through the year and then
win his only premiership,
be a premiership coach, his first ever premiership.
First and only, yeah.
And be the coach of that team, that's awesome. There's quite a few other guys that never played in the premiership.
Most of them probably.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there were some of the recruits that we got, they'd had, and that helped.
Well, those guys, but the guys like the Casanovas and Troy Sargent, all those guys.
Rowitz.
Rowitz, that was their premiership.
Yep, and but I think that really did help us, that those recruits who had some belief that they could win because they'd played in premiership teams.
Because that's a very important thing, isn't it?
Will, the devil are you? There you are, son.
Oh, how you going, Mallee?
I'm going pretty well.
Yeah?
A big win tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll win, easy.
Easy? Like to put some points on it?
15 points.
15 points. Thanks, Mallee.
Tasman's got 5 goals. It never headed.
5 goals, that's one of the better I've heard tonight. Thanks, you.
Well, I think Tasman's probably win by about 18 points.
18 points?
Yes.
What about you, dear?
I think Tasman's will win by 3 goals.
Is that 18 points?
That's the same.
Same there, please. That's very nice. Thank you very much.
Party on, man! That's us! Brilliant! Excellent!
What do you think, Bill? Oh, yeah, shit off, mate. It was worth 2,700 pounds. What do you think, Don?
Fucking beautiful.
See, that's another thing. I having never been involved with a grand final or winning it, or having won a grand final, I just went to work on Monday. It's funny because we had the breakfast next morning down at the Tasman, and I don't know if I walked from there or we're back up to church. We had church at 10 o'clock.
On a Monday?
No, this is
Sunday,
the day after.
Right, sorry, yeah.
Oh, great, can't miss church. Anyway, I came in and they all reckon I staggered in, but I didn't. And because straight away they were doing, I got in late, and of course then the announcements came, oh, here's Stephen Fiegert, won the Tasman, the church, they all clapped.
Totally good.
I don't remember that, but my mate was telling me about it afterwards. And anyway, so then, I don't know whether we must have gone back to the club that afternoon, but the next day, being the Monday, pub crawl, I got to work and the girls had put streamers all through my office and whatever, and that was it. I had appointments and they all come in about 11:45.
Drunk as skunks?
Well, I probably were. I wasn't at that stage, but anyway, they probably were. And said, come on, we've got to go and get the keys to or whatever we had to get. There was a presentation down at the headquarters for the council. And I said to the girls, just cancel my appointment. I can't say no. So off I went with my white shirt and tie and everything down to the end of this thing, and then we had the pub crawl in the afternoon. So yeah. And of course, Bev. Then we had the presentation out on the balcony of
the town hall thing.
Town hall, yeah. And we were all there with cans and drinks in our hand, and Bev, the kids are there. And because I'd had a few by then, and Dad's up there, and look at Dad.
They'd never seen that.
Oh dear. So, yeah, it was good. I'll never
So you're
forget.
36 and you enjoyed the experience of winning a grand final.
Yeah, absolutely. And never, well, I shouldn't say I never expected it. I wouldn't have said it then, but in my mind I thought, well, you know, we're in it, but see what happens. I'm always a realist.
Phil Stanley, spinner, you're a ledge. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks for your time.
Great premiership.
It was a good premiership.
I'll give you the old Boy Scout, because I was a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Give the old Boy Scout. Good on you.
No. Yeah, nice.
Now let me grab those.
Yep.
Fantastic. Watto, you haven't changed too much except your beard's gone grey.
Oh, God.